Ladies and gentlemen and members of the press, we welcome all of you to the headquarters of the All Liberian Party. On behalf of our chairperson, executive committee members, and our political leader, we say you are welcome. It's an honor and a privilege for me to introduce to you the political leader of the All Liberian Party, who will be making a statement to the Liberian people on behalf of the party. So we welcome all of you and we turn things over to our political leader.
Thank you, Mr. SG. The chairman of our party, Honorable Momo, the chairman of the executive committee of the party, Mr. DeLine, other officials and members of the party present here, members of the Fourth Estate. As always, we talk to you from our heart. We are not going to give you a press release because the intention here today is to have an interactive meeting with you, the press. We have remained quiet. From the day of election until present. We have been observing carefully all that have occurred in our country up until today. We believe now is the time to make a few comments about the future of our country, most importantly, to say a few words of appreciation to our partisans and to let the Liberian people know what we are thinking. My people, we want to use this occasion to thank all Liberians, irrespective of who you are, where you come from, and whatever may have been your role in this election. We'd like to thank you. This election will be the most historical event ever in the history of Liberia. We believe Liberia will hit the Guinness Book of Records again for sponsoring what we believe is the most ineffective, the most corrupt election ever in Africa. We want to remind you, from the onset of it, we spoke out against irregularities in this whole process. We have been the lone voice, and we warn not only Liberians, the international community. They came to our headquarters and we cautioned them on everything that has happened here today. My people, let's start from the only in Liberia does that happen. We voiced out against it. We wrote against it. We forward letters to NEC. We forward letters to the NDI, to Carter Center, to the U.S. Embassy, to the EU, and all partners in this process. The so-called chairman of the Election Commission, he got on the air and he made it even worse by saying everybody with a voter's identification card will be allowed to vote. My people, Liberians, that was the key to all for the Election Commission to come on air and say that everybody with a voter's identification card will be. We must with an ID card machine in his house, printing the election commission ID cards. And where was he working? In the office of the president. He was arrested and subsequently released. He was arrested and subsequently released. We've heard nothing of that. If somebody in the president's office can be arrested with the equipment, printing ID cards, and then the chairman of the election commission comes on air and says, everybody with ID card will be allowed to vote. Isn't there a recipe for disaster? We talked about it. Nobody listens. And the list goes on and on and on. We documented every step of the way. We'd like to remind you also, when the president came and asked us to go sign the peace accord, Farmington Peace Accord at the Farmington River at Roberts International Airport, we questioned it. We asked, why this Farmington River Accord? Why do you want peace before talking about the election being free, fair, and transparent? You just jump to peaceful. All the mechanism that has to be placed into order to ensure that the election is peaceful, you leave it aside and you jump to the conclusion and say it's peaceful. Now we know why. You can see it. We talked about that. Nobody listened. I want the world to know that the president invited us to the foreign ministry, her office, on one Sunday. And I stood up alone and warned of the danger of what was happening in our country. And I cautioned all of them who have been in the vanguard of the struggle to liberate our country. And I told them they had an obligation to the people of Liberia to ensure that this election is free, fair, and transparent. And I told her there some of the concerns we had of people, and she said she would look into it and she would get back. She never did. My people, I want to remind you, 40 years, almost 4 decades ago till today, all the problems in our country continue to be by a few people, and we continue to allow it. You know, I'm not disturbed by the result of the election, because every meaning Liberian know that it's impossible for the ALP to have performed the way they said they did. I challenge them, if any of them say we only got 24,000 votes, give me 24 hours and put 100,000 persons to their home, and let's see what our real manpower is in this country. I would put 100,000 people in front of their homes to show them the power of the ALP. But we continue to remain peaceful. We continue to love this country. And we continue to sacrifice for the country. You know, we continue to remind Liberian people, remind you all the day of 1979, where we stood up against the government and started the Red Riots. The same scenario is presenting itself today. People manipulating the political scene, the fooling people, creating leaders that are not really leaders, causing problems in our country. The same people, they have not changed. They continue to use us abuse us only for the personal aggrandizement. And we as people have not been able to start campaign in this country. While we were running a campaign and hoping that the international community would ensure that this election be free and fair and transparent, people were planning criminal acts to manipulate the situation, to ensure that they get what they want. But you know, we took it for granted. We went to the people. We talked to them. The people listened to us. But what do we have today? What do we have today? But I want the world to know that the same actors that have caused our problem for over 4 decades continue to use us as our people. They're using state resources to manipulate our people, confuse them, and keep our country in turmoil. I want them to know that they must take responsibility for whatever happens in this country, because they're responsible. And I want to caution all the political actors. You must be careful. I want to use this opportunity to caution my little brother, George Weah, to be careful. To be careful. And he must come and he must speak out against violence. It's not good. What is happening in our country must stop. It must stop. He must come and tell his people to calm down. We don't need violence in this country. Going forward, if I, Benoni Urey, have not taken to the streets yet, as a result of the election, we must remain peaceful. I want to remind him that he's threatening his path with very dangerous people. He must be careful. He's a young man. He must be careful with the people he finds himself with. He must come back to Monrovia and he must talk to his people to remain law-abiding. Because I know we are much better than most of you people know him. I think he loves Liberia and he doesn't want confusion. And I hope he will listen to me as an older brother and come back and try to put some check. And I want him to realize that everybody will not vote for him. They will not support him. But this is the beauty of the process known as democracy. We must accept it and we must go ahead. And I want him to remember that above all is Liberia. We must never destroy Liberia. We have held back our feelings and our emotion in the interest of Liberia. But if any joker or these political prostitutes that continue to manipulate people can think that they can squash our feelings and our reputation, they can't do it. We're more powerful than that. But I challenge any of them to give me 24 hours and we'll put 100,000 of our supporters to their fence and let them know that the ALP is a force to deal with. But we are a mature force. We are good people. We are peace-loving people. And above all, we're very nationalistic and patriotic. That is what they lack. They lack the love that we have in our party for our people. It's the love we have in our party that surpasses all understanding that will keep us from going in the streets unless it's absolutely necessary. And we might reach that stage. Unless it's absolutely necessary, we might reach that stage. We also want to use this occasion to remind people in this electoral process we talked against the violation of the laws and constitution of Liberia. I was violated by NEC and the judiciary to no avail. We also want to let the world know that we are disappointed because we saw the NDI report and we heard ECOWAS report. In the report, they admitted that they influenced the Supreme Court decision. It's wrong for foreign bodies to come in the country and interfere in the constitution, law, and electoral process in the country. We stand up and we're not afraid of anything. We want the world to know that it was wrong. The NDI came here, the Carter Center came here, all of them. We want to congratulate the EU for her position. She wrote an extremely comprehensive report where she pinpointed the irregularities that occurred in this electoral process. The irregularity was so vast, it's impossible for any good meaning international observer to have not caught some of it and register it. So we congratulate the EU. We hold them in high esteem for that report that she wrote. The NDI, they came and they visited our headquarters, the Carter Center, and we told them that we're surprised at them coming and suggesting that we violate our constitution and our laws in the interest of inclusion. The problems we have here, they must take responsibility for it, because if they wouldn't have interfered in the process, we probably would not be in this confusion today. They have caused us to be where we are. But I also want to use this occasion to talk to Liberians, to tell my people that no matter what the outcome is, we must never resort to violence. We've had a bad past. We must never go back to whence we come. It's all right to exercise your right. The right to demonstrate can never be taken away, but it must be done peacefully and not destructively. I want to also use this occasion to express my sympathy to Henry Costa, a partisan ALP, for what happened. And I want to call on all of my little brothers and sisters, the Zogos and all of those that were involved in that foolishness yesterday. You all have to stop it. And I'm telling you all to stop it. And stop it right there. And I want to call on the police, and we'll be following it carefully. They must pick up, because there's a videotape. Everybody that was involved in there, they must be carried in, and they must be questioned, and the law must prevail. Nobody got the right to attack anybody. And we want to warn everybody in the country, nobody got a monopoly on violence. Nobody got it. And they must not believe our silence and our commitment to our country and our people is a weakness. It's not a weakness. It's our love for our people and our country. My brothers and sisters that participated in that foolishness with Henry Costa, y'all stop it. Because if the police can't stop it, we can stop it. And we call on the police to go and stop it. We don't want no problem in this country. We've had too much. You see, and we must be careful. One hand continue to manipulate this country. Using our money, our resources, continue to put our heads against one another. Do all sorts of things. We must wake up. We must wake up. At the end of it, I want to even warn my little brother, he might not be surprised. Anything can happen. But he must remember, above all, it's Liberia. I want to talk to my partisans. Some of them have been so frustrated Some of them I even had to take all my resources and keep them there for days, counseling them and telling them to leave it. Don't get distracted. It's not the end of the world. What has happened to us? Jerome Kokoya, what you have done to this country, you and your family, your children and your children's children will be judged by history. This election will go down in history as the most rigged election ever in the history of this world. I understand Councillor Bromfield has found over 6,000 examples of irregularity, fraud, etc. We have found thousands also. Everywhere, people have been disfranchised. We can't vote. It's the worst election ever in the history of Liberia. And we even talked about it before. You had a foreigner heading the election commission. When they questioned his nationality, of course he had to let all of those who were foreigners run. And it just continued on and on. But I want the world to know that we're not stupid people. We saw what happened. We brought it to their attention. They didn't help us. In fact, they encouraged, some of them encouraged our laws to be broken. And then they say, oh, for peace sake. We love peace in this country. But every bad that is done, when you talk about it, say, for peace sake, leave it. The peace sake, leave it, peace sake, leave it. Continue to hunt us as a people. We are peace loving. We love peace, we care for peace. But people will not continue to hate us. And we want to talk and say, for peace sake, leave it. You understand? And we also made it clear that we didn't have a court to go to in the instance where there's an electoral dispute. Nobody listened. We did. Hopefully, the Supreme Court will redeem itself. I understand we'll be going to them. We'll continue to try. Hopefully, they will redeem themselves because all of them know what they did was wrong. I'm hoping that they will find room in their hearts and their conscience to do something to save the country and save the reputation of us as a people. We have become the laughing stock internationally. You see videotapes of the ballots being blown by wind. We see videotapes of them finding 2,000 plus ballots that have been pre-marked. It's all videotape. We have it. We see videotapes of Liberians crying because they have been, the rights to vote been denied. And Jerome Kokoya, the group can walk and ride around this country with no remorse of conscience. You know, when we were coming up, we laughed at Emma Hammer. But this one here made Emma Hammer look like God. You know? My people, we're in difficult times. We're in difficult times. But I want to appeal to all our partisans. Don't give up. Don't give up. We warned you about what was coming. We fought a good fight. We're proud of you. We went to every city, every town in this country. In fact, there are places in the voting precinct in my yard. In Bana. Near my yard, brother. In Bana. They say, I got no food. So even my relatives there in my house that eat my food, sleep under my roof, taking food for me. What a joke. I mean, even if you want lie and steal, do it good. We got instances, the tally sheet, where you say ALP 45. They move the scratch it 45, they put 45, they scratch it for they move the 100, they put 45, they scratch out 1, they put 4, they scratch it. But they even forgot the total 145 was still there and left it there. All of those facts, we have it. And what will happen eventually to the election commission? We believe nothing. Stop playing with the Liberian people. Stop playing with the Liberian people. We will accept. When we hit the wall with a bounce back. Be careful with the Liberian people. You go, you take money from everybody to go against your Liberian people. It is alleged. Let me use that term before they go sue me. It is alleged. And with certainty, some certainty, take money to do what he did to the Liberian people. It doesn't augur well. It doesn't augur well for us as a people. And you know, when people take the country money and do wicked things, I'm reminded of the philosopher Robert Brett. He said, whosoever mitigates the woe and increases the happiness of any individual is his greatest criteria of goodness. For whosoever injures a soul of anybody, any individual in society, is his greatest measure of iniquity. What you have done, you harm people, you harm people, and you harm your country. This process has been manipulated to the point where it cannot really be described. I've never seen such blatant disregard for one's integrity as I've seen here today. But my people, we have to keep being strong. We have to keep on fighting for our people. Even if they don't want to fight for themselves, we have to keep on fighting for them. It's not going to be an easy battle. Because when you control state resources, it's a difficult thing. It's a difficult thing. But to all of you, my partisans, let's keep strong. Remember the 15 months of the All Liberian Party. I want to close my speech here by telling you about the first and the last month of the All Liberian Party. The first month is that we must reconcile and unite our country. All of you who are so disappointed, let's put hands around one another's shoulder and let's comfort them and let's keep strong. We are in court. After the court, we will make our decision. You will hear our decision. But we must reconcile our differences. Even if we hate those that stole us, stole our rights to vote, that manipulated the votes to try to make us look bad. They lost. So you can't make us look bad. We are strong people, strong-willed people, and we will continue to fight until victory is won. We must remain united, my partisan. We must remain united, because in unity, there is strength. We must stay together. And I'm reminded about the last month of the ALP. And that must is what has kept us quiet. And that must is that we must love one another. It's a must that these criminals around here lack. Because if they love their people, they will not be doing what they're doing. It's a must. It's a must that we have in ALP to love one another. We love our people. That's why we'll never do what they did. And that's why we have remained quiet. And we're still listening, hoping that this Supreme Court will rule in the interest of justice and his people. It's that love that surpasses all understanding and keep us going as a people. Again, my Father said, we love you from the depth of our hearts. Thank you.
Questions. We want to do that very orderly. I know the fourth estate, you got some questions.
We'll take 4.
Let's take 4 questions, all right? So you call your name, the media institution you represent, and then you ask your question.
Yes, sir.
Let's start with you.
My name is Winston Blade, and I report for Radio Bourgeois. With all of this,
Radio where?
Bourgeois, 15 Lockington. With all of this, Benoni Urey, what's the way forward? Who do you support now?
It's not, my brother, it's not who Benoni Urey supports. I made it very clear to you. We have a case in the court, okay, and at the conclusion, we'll make our decision. In the interest, the supreme interest of Liberia and not Benoni Urey. For me, in that instance, I might not even vote. The will of the people will prevail.
Yeah. Yes. Mr.
And I will follow the will of my people.
Yeah. Mr. Urey, my name is Samuel Davis. I work for Capital FM.
Of course I know you.
Yeah, your press conference sound so reconciliatory. It appears that you may just forgo everything and just let peace prevail.
I don't understand what's reconciliatory about it. I presented facts, and you know, one cannot be running to be president of a country and simultaneously want to destroy it or see it destroyed. Liberia is bigger than Benoni Urey. Liberia is bigger than George Weah. Liberia is bigger than Joe Boyer. That is the primary thing. So I don't think it's reconciliatory. We are very strong on those who believe cause is violent. But we must never, because of a personal aggrandizement, destroy our country. We can be beyond that.
Yes, my name is Aaron Wosi. I work for the newspaper. Who are those who talking about that John Weah should be very mad or be careful what it is?
If I did, I would have said it.
Yes, sir. My name is Henry Kamon. I work for Conflict. One key point you mentioned that took my interest was you said, what I would like to note for you, what will constitute absolute necessity that might lead you to the streets?
Well, I haven't thought about that.
You said,
No, I haven't thought about that. Listen to me carefully. We said that we will remain peaceful. But going to the street, it's not being belligerent. It's being peaceful. Under the Constitution, we have a right to go to the street. And when the situation presents itself, yes, we'll go to this. If it does, we'll go to the street. And I will be open for I'm saying nobody charging the street unless I'm there. So you want to kill me first. If it's necessary, we'll get in the street. Whatever the case is, but I don't think we've reached that point. We're going through processes. Right now, we are the courts. Let's see what happens.
you continue to talk about few people who fulfill the republic, the system, and democracy.
Did you not listening?
No,
He asked the same question.
You talk about George Weah, people he was learning with. I'm saying the people you say continue to manipulate our system, our democracy, using our resources. We manage this.
I suggest that you think about everything that has happened and you yourself try to evaluate the situation, find out who I've done what I said, and then you suggested to me.
Okay, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you.
Hello, Liberia. Again, my name is Dawa Baka. I am a member of the Urey media team, and I've been joined by another colleague of mine.
Well, how you doing? Thank you. My name is Ernest Passaway. Also a member of the Urey media team.
We listened to the first partisan, and he questioned our supporters right across this country, Liberians and non-Liberians that are residing within our borders, to remain peaceful as we go about some of the electoral malpractices that we experienced during this election. So what do you have to tell our people out there?
I think the political leader, that one makes him a very mature political leader. Look, because the fact is, in whatever we do, election, non-election, Liberia remains very paramount. We must all fight to sustain the peace that we are experiencing. So look, we call on our parties to remain peaceful. Look, we know the situation, the issues that went ahead, we know what happened, where injustices where our votes were taken, areas that we knew we wanted, our votes were taken, tarnishes were temporary. But look, we have chosen to go the legal path. So we're calling our parties to remain peaceful as we go through the processes. Our political leader is a very mature and calm person. You saw the press conference, he spoke, he didn't criticize anybody, he spoke good over the other two parties involved in the runoff. He hasn't taken a position. We as a party hasn't taken a position. So far, that's good.
So I'm also being joined by another member of the Urey media team.
How are you doing? My name is Abdullah Gaddafi Ba. I'm a member of the All Liberian Party media team. As you just listened to our political leader, Honorable Benoni Urey, speaking to Liberia, that is where he stands. He never speaks of any violence. He remind Joseph Walker and George, we have to be very mindful of this process that is going on. So we want to follow our political leader, but now and then we still wait to see what's going to happen next.
Okay, thank you. I've also been joined by Scientific Belakoy, another strong member of the Urey media team, a man who used almost all of his time doing these processes to make sure that Liberia get working. Johnny Scientific Belakoy, the political leader have spoken. Where are we?
Oh, yeah, thank you very much, Dauda Awabesi. The political leader, he spoke brilliantly and concisely to the issue. The evidence of the electoral fraud, they were all glaring. We presented pieces of information to the court, and then the court is looking into it, because like so much is a question, where are we as it relates to the matter? They say a court, and then they try to push him for the street protest. He said no, that is systematic. It comes in chronological sequences, and we don't go on the street. The first thing you got to seek legal redress to see how best you can pursue your case in that legal framework for violence. So the political leader, he spoke brilliantly, he spoke well, and then he took the issue of Liberia first. Liberia first, Liberia last was the hallmark of the entire press conference.
Okay, we also been joined by a member of the Team Costa, one of the most vibrant arms of the All Liberian Party. I think you are aware that we had Henry P. Costa contesting in District 6, and he was one of the brains behind that team. Hello, Chief, and welcome to our live video.
Yeah, let me say thank you very much, my dear friend Dauda. We are not deterred after the results of the just ended elections. However, our political leader just spoke, and we filed our complaint to NEC, and the court subsequently in regards to the irregularities and fraud, and we stand by the decision of our political leader, because this country is a country of law. We want to respect the law. This is the only way Liberia can go forward.
Okay, from that end, we want to say Thank you for watching our video. You've heard it for yourself. Our political leader has called for calm, and we are calling on all of our partisans, supporters of other political parties, to stay calm, remain law-abiding, remain peaceful, and we can, in any given democracy, will always disagree. We'll always disagree, but we want to say this is where we are. In democracy, we exchange ideas and not punches. Thank you, and remain peaceful. Thank you, and bye-bye from my end.